Massive Texans update. This has serious implications on the team and a big name back at practice. That's always good news when he hasn't been practicing. OTAs are over. Texans are moving on to mandatory minicamp, and CJ Stroud, he's back. So a lot of good news, a lot of rumors saying he wasn't going to be ready for the start of the season, and now we know how low risk it was. So a lot to get to on Texans Digest in terms of how the season's going to go. But you got your franchise guy back in the helm. Some big plays that happened over the course of the past couple of days. So you got to see those clips. But if you're new to Texans Digest, 77% of you are not subscribed. Appreciate all the support on the past videos. You guys have been killing it. But go in the comments right now and let me know your thoughts on how this offseason has been, as well as CJ Stroud being back in practice. So it's probably the biggest thing is the news right now about Stroud, and honestly about last year to this year. Kind of his first 3 seasons. This will be his 3rd season in the league. First season, great rookie year. Looked like a standout veteran quarterback. Looked like he hadn't skipped a beat as a rookie. Second year, little shaky. Blame it on the offensive line. Blame it on the injured wide receivers. The Texans have boosted up. They stacked the O-line. Well, not stacked, but they've put guys in the right places on the offensive line. They do not have any major holes. They've replenished the wide receiving room, and we really have to, at least outside of Texans fans, we really need to stop pushing the narrative that CJ Stroud is not a top 10 quarterback, because the people that are saying that, the Texans had a down year, they're just going to continue to go on that downward spiral. Just, again, Texans fans, you can let other people have it, but in terms of Texans Digest, we can hype up CJ Stroud in the comments, especially for the throws that he's making at mandatory minicamp, because I honestly want to show the clip right now. I mean, Stroud has been unbelievable. I mean, we also have to credit the catch. I mean, Jaden Higgins with the nice little one-handed snag. But you got to say, Stroud, after not being in practice, just looks like he's in rhythm with the rookie. I mean, that's incredible. So if that's what's anything to come for this season, I mean, I know it's, they don't have a lot of contact. There's no pads yet. So you're going to keep it slow in terms of how the season's going to ramp up. But if that's anything of what's to come, this offense is going to be in rhythm. And Stroud's actually been commenting on just coming back from injury. And he's talking about how really this isn't a big deal to him. I mean, the biggest thing is Stroud, not only does he feel great, but he feels great to be back. And honestly, he's been throwing all offseason. So he's saying he's going to miss some throws. Obviously not to Jaden Higgins or any of the other guys. But, I mean, realistically, this is not as crazy as a expectation that we were looking for, because CJ Stroud is back in action, and we know the franchise guy he's capable of because of his rookie year. The sophomore slump was due to the lack of at the offensive line, with Shaq Mason giving up double-digit sacks at right guard. The offensive line was terrible. So you rip it down, you rebuild it, and he's feeling good to go. Just took a couple precautionary steps in terms of waiting it out in the offseason, and again, now we can put the concerns to rest. CJ Stroud is fine. He's even said that he's fine. So that's also good news. We'll go back to it.
I mean, I was already throwing, before you guys see me out there pretty normally. I think y'all don't have much to talk about. So y'all everything is blown up in all season. So I'm fine, man. I'm really okay. Yeah.
So Stroud, he's fine. I mean, he said it himself. So he's just trying to be a little bit more in the offseason, doing a lot more with his PRs. So that's always good to hear that he's in the gym, that he's trying to be a better quarterback. And again, this is a player who's a great leader, going to be a massive contract coming up in the offseason. He's going to be the franchise guy for years to come. I would love for them to go on a run to potentially try and win a Super Bowl. I was on X, and they're CJ Gardner-Johnson saying, I'm trying to win at least 3 more Super Bowls. I mean, the fact that he's on Houston, hopefully they can go on a run, right? But he's expecting to be back in the Super Bowl. I know this is a guy on Philly, so talk about the locker room, the culture. This Texans team is a very well-coached team. They have the right quarterback. They have the right defense. Realistically, the only 2 to 3 problems last year was the offensive line couldn't hold up. The receivers got so frequently injured, and there was not enough confidence to throw these guys the ball when you have John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson as your wide receivers 2 and 3. And then the third thing, the offensive play calling was bad. And now CJ Stroud is seeing that Nick Caley is not only giving him more confidence and saying, hey, you could check at the line now with all these audibles, but Gerard Johnson, the quarterback coach, is now having more abilities to be in this offense and ownership for the kind of team and how it's being run. And that's always good to see is you don't want to just have your offensive coordinator have the reins on everything. Your quarterback coach, yes, it's supposed to be, conversation between the quarterback, but I do feel like they should have some depiction on how the offense is ran, right? They're not just a quarterback coach. They know how the offense works. They know how certain schemes are supposed to work. So I think it's perfect that Gerard Johnson and Nick Caley are communicating, because last year I feel like that was a little bit of a problem. Bobby Slowick had this offense that he wanted to run, and I'm not saying that he just put off Gerard Johnson, but I don't think he was as involved as he could have been. And Nick Caley just embracing that team membership, the teamwork. I mean, that's what's supposed to be as football players. You're supposed to bring the team together, and not only is CJ Stroud doing that back at practice, throwing the ball to Jaden Higgins, but now Gerard Johnson, Nick Caley, CJ Stroud can shape the offense, while DeMeco Ryans can work on the defense. I mean, that's what you want to see. We all know Matt Burke is the defensive coordinator, but really the mastermind behind it all is DeMeco Ryans being the signal caller for the defense, and having all those guys for the right scheme fits. That is what you want to see looking at this team. The biggest thing about the defense is there may not be a lot of guys that play well on other teams. And what I mean by that is you bring in a guy like Sheldon Rankins, who, and he's been great for the team before, so it's a bad example, but certain players work well on the Texans because of the scheme fit that they are in. They go to a different team, they're not going to be the same player. So, again, certain superstars are going to be superstars on the Texans or anywhere else, but there's also certain players that just fit the mesh of this team, and it is really great to see, especially on defense. I know this graphic really doesn't have anything to say about that, but I love the fact that we're talking about the offensive line, because it is a problem, right? But you want to make sure that you have chemistry with your guys. So Stroud talking about he's seen a majority of all the new guys coming in: Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson. You have that's pretty much it in terms of your new guys. You also have Trent Brown at right tackle, Jarrett Patterson. I mean, they've had a connection, but it's great to see that they're back, and they're the mindset of these guys that brought in is to dominate out there. So that's what you want to see. But again, I mentioned in the last video, Nick Caserio built this offense to basically run the football. And now you sign Nick Chubb and you go after Woody Marks in the draft. I mean, you have two running backs now that are getting up there in age and that are both coming off of injured seasons. I mean, Nick Chubb had that major knee injury. Joe Mixon had the ankle injury. But they're both high subject to wrist. And that's why you got all the guys on the offensive line that you needed to basically maintain a good run game. However, hopefully the pass game holds up, because when you're the second most sacked team in all football last year, that's going to be a big problem. But looking at the future for this team, there's a lot of good things to look forward to. And again, Stroud took the offseason to heart, always getting his body right. But basically, what I'm expecting from this team is for them to just take the top off of this season, right? They were around top 10 as an offense with Stroud in his rookie year. Second year, sophomore slump. It happens. You had a lot of things go wrong. I was kind of surprised they fired Slowick, but it was the right call. And in order to go win a championship, whether it's an AFC championship or a Super Bowl appearance, whatever, that would be a beyond expectations for me. And I know people in the comments are going to be like, you're a crazy Texans fan, that's never going to happen. Fine, you could say that. But I honestly do believe this team is being very underlooked, very slept on. And I think the Nick Chubb signing, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but everyone's freaking out about that. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's a great idea to bring in somebody for, a minimum contract. You steal him away from the Browns. He obviously still wants to play. The Browns haven't committed to him. He goes to the Texans to go win, and that was the main thing. Nick Chubb goes to the team to win, basically because he had better offers other places, but, he's going to try and win a chip. Now, with this team, You have to be better on offense. And that's where Stroud is going to come back stronger than ever. We're not going to talk about how he was terrible last year and all the bad things that Stroud did. It was a lot of the things around him that fell apart, including the offensive. I'm not going to continue to repeat myself here, but just for everyone to understand, we all know CJ Stroud is capable of being one of the greatest quarterbacks in the league. I'm not going to say that, but he's definitely borderline top 5 after this season. And I really do believe that because after last season, people are like, yeah, Stroud might be around 10 to 15, maybe even 16, around that kind of range. And I'm just saying, like, no, that's not how it was because, every 5 seconds he was under duress. The play calling was pretty bad, and now you have a signal caller, Nick Caley, who is taking a good approach here, trusting his quarterback coach, talking things through, saying, okay, how are we going to run this offense? Do you want to auto? Like, that kind of communication is so key and so helpful for your quarterback to be able to be like, okay, we can learn from this. We can not just run the ball into the ground every single game. And that is just so dynamic when you have that kind of relationship with your coaching staff, with your team. I mean, realistically, you don't see that too often anymore with tight relationships. I mean, it's always been a quarterback wants to do it his way, and that's how it is. There are a few relationships I can't really think off the top of my head. I would say Jared Goff and when you're looking at Dan Campbell, that kind of relationship is always good. But again, Campbell's more of a defensive, I don't know. He has all these different things. But making the point of the Texans here, CJ Stroud is now having a great relationship with his offensive coordinator. And not only DeMeco Ryans. I mean, DeMeco Ryans is such a great coach that he just changed the culture of this team. But now you bring in Nick Caley. I think it's all going to turn around for the Texans this season. Let me know your thoughts because this team's going to go crazy in this season. I don't know if it's going to be a half the season because you could take halfway through the season to get up to speed, but this is going to be one of the best teams in the AFC. They could easily go on a run. My hope, my goal for the team, I'm going to continue to say it, an AFC championship appearance for the first time. I think it's very possible to get there, but you just got to trust the process with CJ Stroud, Nick Caley, this new offense, new offensive line, new running back room with Chubb, Mixon, and Woody Marks. So we'll see what they got, but the receiving core is probably the biggest thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Appreciate all the support on the past videos. This has been Mike Zanetti, Texans Digest. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll see you in the next episode.